If you work in coffee and you want to make yourself future-proof, my name's Christopher Patagli. I own 416 Coffee. We have a coffee roastery and 2 coffee shops. Today I'm going to tell you about how I think AI is going to affect the coffee industry and I guess a little bit about the hospitality industry at large. But before I do anything, now that I have the fuel to give you what I need, let's talk about AI. So AI will affect
every industry.
But is it going to replace the traditional coffee shop industry? Is it going to affect that, and to what extent? That's kind of the question we're going to ask today. AI or robotics have already replaced coffee in a lot of places. Think about it like this. Have you ever been to a gas station where you have seen a machine that has... You go there and you press a button and it grinds and whirs and out comes this beverage that vaguely resembles a latte.
I don't know what kind of coffee they use, but this is amazing.
Okay, now I understand. Compared to specialty, it's a very different experience, but they're all, like, on the low end of it, they have already used robotics and as much tech as possible to replace human labor, right? Before, gas station coffee would have just been, pots of drip that the person working there would have started in the morning. And then now we have some of these machines that can make a latte or a cappuccino, right? So on the low end, tech is already replacing as much human labor as possible. We see this too at restaurants like McDonald's, where before you used to go in and there'd be a bunch of high school age kids on cash and you'd walk up and there's a bunch of kids throwing stuff around in the back, whereas now...
Let's see, I want to eat in.
You kind of go to this massive screen, you order, and then your number gets called, there's way less people involved, right? Way less human touch points. And that's because when you go to somewhere for convenience and price, they will replace as much as possible with AI and with robotics, right? With technology, let's call it. So I think the low end of the coffee market is the first place we're gonna see as much robotics and tech go in as possible, because no one was going into those places for an experience. They wanted something fast and they wanted it cheap. Now, as we go up market, as we go into places where you are going in to share a joke with the barista and you are going in to have something that's a bit higher quality, we're still seeing robotics replace people, but kind of in a different way. We saw the Wally from La Marzocco, the Perfect Mousse, some of these milk steaming technologies, which act as an added set of hands to help the barista in their workflow. And then the other thing we've seen with tech is we've seen espresso machines become way more advanced as far as built-in scales, and now we're even seeing the communication between espresso machine and grinder to help baristas dial in easier. So the barista's job is becoming easier and their skills are becoming less necessary in some cases. What does that leave though on the high end? That leaves the barista to be the human. The skill is being an awesome host, is communicating with the customers, right? So on the high end, we are seeing espresso equipment get more advanced so that you can make more repeatable, great espresso beverages. And yes, 100%, the milk steaming technology is not going away. The communication between the grinder and the espresso extraction not going away. All the tools and tech to make better coffee faster, more efficiently aren't going away. That is gonna free up baristas and front of house staff to be the hostess with the mostest, to make sure every guest has a 10 out of 10 experience. So I actually think technology and AI will overall make our cafe experience that much better. I think that's where it's heading. And like I said, on the low end, yes, you will just have ghost coffee shops, right? Where no one's working, there's a robot, and that's what's happening. But on the high end, you are gonna have a much better experience and interaction with the people that do work there, because they're gonna be less stressed out about making sure that everything's perfect. They're gonna have a bit more leeway to talk to you and focus their attention on you, and less so on the mechanics of, is this espresso pulling right, and is the milk steamed perfectly? And also, they're gonna be able to handle probably more volume of people providing that experience. And so I think it's going to be overall good for the industry as a whole, but it will just change the dynamic of what's required from people. So we will hire people more so based on their human skills, their soft skills, versus their technical barista chops in the future. And then the other thing that I just wanna say, just as an added point, I've always saw the industry this way, in the sense that I can teach anyone in a couple of weeks how to make a great coffee and how to steam milk properly. But if you have a terrible personality, or if you're not good with customers, or if you don't like talking to people, the coffee industry was never for you. And robots don't talk to people. And if they do, it's still weird. ChatGPT, I don't care. I understand it's good. It's still kind of weird. So I would say, if you work in coffee and you want to make yourself future-proof, just be a good human. Be good with customers. Treat your customers with respect, your guests with respect, become their friend, have great interactions in the shop. And I'm telling you right now, no robot is going to replace that, at least not in my mind. So